Hello. Hi. Hi. Hello. Come in. Hi. 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 This is the second time I'm coming at this, but with a little bit of a different approach. Instead of a direct address, I thought I'd try, like lateral, surrounding, landscape. Yes. 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 Ah, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, okay, okay. No, okay, 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 okay. Okay, okay, okay. No, I will start. Okay, no, okay, okay, okay. Okay, you have me. Okay, yes, okay, I'm here. Okay, yes, yes, okay, okay, yes, okay, yes, yes. I've been trying to work on some things. I've been trying to work something up, I guess. Trying to bust something open, undo it in a way, maybe. And in the process of undoing it, undoing the constructs of the content of the thing, I've been in part undoing my self or idea of self or idea of words or words that speak to self or words that describe self, or doing something, or rather sometimes doing nothing, or doing a thing and calling it a thing, whilst that thing is trying to undo another thing, then do you see what I am saying? We are kind of stuck in this loop of doing and one thing and undoing and another, and a thing that is doing its job, the job being the undoing of the other thing, a doing, undoing, doing, and then redoing, doing, undoing, undoing, doing, doing, undo, undo, to do it in undoing the undoing, and then I am a little bit lost. I've been. No, I have been. No, I have been. No, I have. I've been. No, I have been. No, I fucking have been. No, I've binned off most of the things that I thought I would say here, and I'm actually getting more down to saying to you, now exactly, all right, so let's get into it. Last year, according to the various dictionaries and other self-proclaimed bastions of literary authority within the English language, in an attempt to remain relevant and in an attempt to regain their rather masculine urge to retain a control of language itself, the ratified and certified words of the year in the year of our Lord 2024 were, in no particular order, demure, enshittification, manifest, polarization, brain rot, which is, I believe, actually two words, brat, and raw dog, which is also somewhat of a portmanteau word, being two words that are quite hastily smashed together to form some sort of a neologism. Now, if we take just one of these sources, the Oxford English Dictionary, which is arguably the most bastion of all bastions, and work our way back through the last 15 years or so of words of the year as decreed by the marketing department of the Oxford English Dictionary on behalf of the whole of the staff team of the Oxford English Dictionary, and subsequently on behalf of the whole of the English-speaking world, we find a stratified linguistic topography going back in time, year by year, consisting of brain rot, as previously mentioned, Riz, goblin mode, vax, no word chosen. It seems like in 2020 we did not deserve to be memorable in even linguistic reasoning, climate emergency, toxic, youthquake, post-truth, Unicode U+1F602, also known as the crying laughing emoji, vape, selfie, omni-shambles, squeezed middle, big society, and simples. This was a catchphrase from an astoundingly successful advertising campaign that ran in the United Kingdom and Australia in 2009 for the insurance price match aggregator comparethemarket.com. The advertising campaign switching out the word market with the rhythmically and sonically similar word meerkat. The advertisements in the campaign featured the character of Alexander Orlov, an animated anthropomorphic Russian meerkat, and Orlov's friends and family. Orlov is portrayed as being of aristocratic stock, perhaps some type of an oligarch. But yes, this was before the burgeoning imperialist expansionist aims of contemporary Russia became undeniable. Orlov is the founder of comparethemeerkat.com, and the advertising campaign originally centered on his frustration over the confusion between his website and comparethemarket.com, playing on the similarity between the almost homophonic words market and meerkat. Orlov's catchphrase was simples. A book featuring Orlov titled A Simple's Life was subsequently published in 2010. Okay. And now I think, or I believe, that it just may more or less be, well, the thing is that somewhat it is difficult to say that the answer might be kind of, sort of, like it's yeah, don't you know? You know, like when, well, it seems to be when I wondered if I could, and I could, but I couldn't, quite more or less. And now I'm not an expert on this, but all I know is that they told me, yeah. By the way, it's kind of like when, sure, actually, like, not to beat around the bush, but I might, you know, loosely speaking, kind of, and yeah, like, yeah, you know, I've actually got quite a short tongue. Like, you'd think it'd be something of a hindrance for someone working primarily with their voice as the main medium of their artistic practice, but I think it's fine. And also, I guess your tongue can't get twisted if it is so short. I like tongue twisters. Anything on the limits of language, the frontier, the edge point. Anything on the borders of sound and of sense. Because the thing about language is that if you cross its frontier, you just find more language. Language outside of itself. Dwelling in the depths, sense outside of its sound. If you take care of the sound, the sense will take care of itself. A noisy noise annoys an oyster. A big black bug bit a big black bear. A proper copper coffee pot. An ape hates grape cakes. A shapeless sash sags slowly. A synonym for cinnamon is a cinnamon synonym. Lesser leather never weathered, wetter weather better. She sells seashells by the seashore. Absolute classic. Cooks cook cupcakes quickly. Red lorry, yellow lorry. When I was a kid, I couldn't really say that last one. My parents would have a very fun time trying to make me. The Y's and the L's and the R's were particularly challenging in my developing sense of diction. Maybe something to do with the short tongue. Yellow lorry would forever be lello lolly, or yero rolly, or lero yowi, or yeyo rory. I find something quite productive in the speech era, the parapraxis, when a wholly new word comes out like a little surprise. In these new words, the new beginnings of words, in these new formations of words, in these new orders of sounds that are brought about by mistake, a new form of potential sense can emerge. A semantics that is based upon vibration of something that is close to a thing, but isn't actually a thing, but could arguably be a thing if you want it to be a thing. Like when the phrase brake fluid is mispronounced as Blake Fruid, and you can come up with a whole backstory in your mind of this new character, Blake. Or when well-made becomes Mel Wade. Is that another name or a type of a river? Or when available becomes avoilable. Something of the tin foil and the date. Or when jump rope becomes rump joke, obvious. Or when throat cutting is deactivated into the rather silly and naughty sounding coat thrutting. Or when squeaky floor becomes fleeky squaw. Or when strength of character or when strength of character became stench of caricature. Or when terrible and horrible combine to make terrible, and I definitely have felt terrible before. Same goes for frustrated, a blend of flustered and frustrated. I like to work into these. My favorite are the motivational statements, which keep some type of a sense in their rhythmic drive and their intonation. Even though the sound lets the sense down, we still know that we are on the path to victory. Like, I think you can all really understand what I mean when I say, keep going, fetsko, yeta sup, chaka fleg, crumb on vow, thu sa, tret ho, gont flop, seeper thong, lose a cup, set for fut, let 'em put, clo peer, grevum sup, pay a play, fussle heap, clone cheap, bonus sap, so let's come, cadance a flant, rasa toss, lex bezel, tin jaw, plantain door feed, sang on him, trivin call, de jaw for fool, truva med, na fine a plough, kes flon, cross train, ront tinder, ked a philo, teach a foal, pray besides, decide flaws, tits lutal quode, clip on dit, shush con, lay on darts, fun tom, chest glory, vad dance, it's chime to Taj, clever piece, gon't live din, peaty cup, a neep kong, teep a kit, pea solve, parry songs, prick a zit, slang bluff, slantain, a yurt on gelves, supake a romis, frown a floor, splurge git, slake up a pine, vold a hissin, rusty pulpis, sea bongs, wait the furled, it's wet sued, jet fact, cree the voice, nuva plom, rummer sound, cruffle pup, ret fro, fee bast, tres phonely bun, tree blue, crits fine, yets flow, woad pay, kringle out, wumble sup, clud haze, and weeby zony. If the unconscious is structured like a language, then this is what we are all primarily cerebrally constituted of. Words and words and words on words, and sounds of bits and bobs of words. And the words that we choose, and the sounds that we make, and the words that we word, or the sounds that we word, or the words that we form into sounds, and the sounds that we form into words, and the sounds that we say to ourselves, and the words that we sound to others, and the meanings we ascribe to the words, and the words that we ascribe to the meanings, and the sounds that we ascribe to the words, and the messages we send to our others, and the selves that we fill with our meanings, and the way that we talk to ourselves, and the sounds that we talk to others, and the others we tell to our meanings, and the sounds that we fill with our sounds, and the sounds that we say to each other, and the order that we give to our words, and the sounds that we fill up with meaning, and the structures of sounds and in words, and the meanings we bring to our feelings, and the sounds that we bring to ourselves, and the feelings we express with our meanings, and the sounds of the words that we mean, and the meanings we ascribe to our feelings, and the sounds we ascribe to the meanings, and the meanings we give to our being, are ultimately up to us. So words can be banned, and sounds can be muted, and slogans outlawed, and sentences undone, and sense can be found somewhere else. So we can undo some words, and we can undo some sounds, and we can undo some meanings, and we can unmake some things, or make them again, or make them slightly differently, or make them slightly less important, or make them slightly more important, or shift the focus around a little, make them resonate, or vibrate in a slightly different area, or just undo some of the stuff, because I think it is about time that we undo some things that have been done. In undoing the things that are done, undone and doing, that have been done, undone, zipped open, what will be left is a fractured pile of phonemes and morphemes and lexemes and murmurs and plosives and fricatives and paralingual, paranoid, parasitic parataxes. Beyond the frontiers of language, we just find more language. Within us, there are two languages, two sets of sounds and signs, the surface and the depths, the speaker and the body, the dictionary and the scream, and now we are getting to it. You see, on the one side, we have the dictionary, that is language as abstract, that is language as systematic, that is saying something of sense, that is language as an instrument of communication, that is language as a set of signifiers and signs, that is transcending the individual speaker, that is separated from any physical or material origin, that is an instrument of control, that is mastered by a regulating subject, that is hierarchical, that is the language of the speaker, that is the language of the surface. And then on the other side, we have the scream, which is language as actual material, which is unsystematic, which is an expression of the passions, which is based upon instinct, which is saying something of sound, which is an outward expression of the drives, which is the very sound of affect itself, which is maybe just a series of noises, which is not meant to promote communication, which is therefore self-contradictory, which is the language of the body, which is the language of the depths. In the depths, disorder reigns, or rather another order, or rather another language, a tongue that nobody maybe understands, not even the one who utters the words, language undoing itself in confusion. Beyond language, we just find more language. Neither the dictionary nor the scream exists in its own independent entity, but rather a flirtation between the two exists between the speaker and the body. For example, when we learn one of the methodologies of the dictionary as children, that is, when we learn the process of reading, of the relation of sounds to signifier, to sign, to sense, we mouth the words out loud, activating the voice, activating the body, activating our sound-making potential as we form this process of relation. The cat sat on the mat. As we grow older, those private speaking voices that are ours as children migrate inwards to form an inner voice that exists within the mind. However, this activation of the vocalic system, as words are sounded out, never really leaves us. When we are reading as adults, the vocal cords and vocal folds are still activated with micro movements that are imperceptible to the reader as a muscle memory of the original relation from sign to sound to sense. Take care of the sound and the sense will take care of itself. Now, somewhere between the dictionary and the scream, between the speaker and the body, between the surface and the depths, between the sound and the sense, we finally come to laughter. Laughter is a form of perhaps non-semantic communication that sits somewhere outside of reason. Laughter is infectious. Laughter has the power to deactivate certain situations. At the same time, laughter can be used to manipulate. False laughter can imitate emotional expression and feign the joys associated with genuine laughter, to influence people or lull people into a false sense of security. To make a person laugh can be portrayed as an action of control. Conversely, to laugh at someone's jokes is an act of submission. To laugh at someone, or at a group of individuals, has a real vicious potential for weaponization and division. Most of the time, laughing has nothing to do with humor and is more about the intricacies of social dynamics and the formation of relationships. But then sometimes also it is to do with humor. If you are lucky, a laugh can be a release of nervous energy. Now, I've been trying to transcribe and score different modes of laughter, particularly between men, particularly concerning issues surrounding masculinity, and particularly concerning patriarchal structures, which can be applied to pretty much nearly everything around us, I guess. So, for example, here is the laugh of a dad who is humoring someone whose joke he doesn't think is very funny. And for example, here is the laugh of a man who has laughed at another man's joke, but halfway through the laugh, he has reflected on the joke, which was in pretty poor taste, actually, and quite misogynistic, actually, and he wonders why he laughs at these things and if it is okay. And for example, here is a laugh from an older man as he looks at his little grandson and thinks about time and life and stuff. And for example, here is a laugh from a lad with the lads just being a lad like lads are. Lads. And for example, here is the laugh of a man who has just suggested to his date for the 4th time that they go back to his, even though she has dropped multiple hints that she has to get up early for work in the morning and that had been really nice to meet you, and yet he still will not quit. And for example, here is the laugh of a man who has just met another man, and they are both the same type of silly and are both immediately signaling their approval and enjoyment of the other. And for example, here is a laugh from a man whose long-distance love has just surprised him with an unplanned visit that comes at the end of a very, 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 very tough and long day for him. Ooh. And for example, here is a laugh that a man delivered directly at me after telling me that he thought he could kill a boar with his bare hands, and I responded, "What are you talking about? We live in 2025 and you are an artist. This boar will almost definitely kill you, and this conversation is almost definitely ridiculous. Why are we talking about this?" Which he interpreted as my submission to his physical dominance. Ha! And for example, here is quite a long laugh, from the Laughing Revival Pentecostal Church, led by the fanatical preacher Rodney Howard Brown, when he asked Jody from the congregation to recount a story. Now, now, I was gonna end it with the kind of a way that I always like to end these type of things, in a kind of a build-up kind of a thing, which maybe it was already just happened, a kind of a something of a crescendo, where I would talk about how laughter is used as a kind of, kind of make us feel safe, or make us feel coerced, or make us feel fucking warm or something, or supposedly meant to make, feel secure or something, or maybe makes us think that things are getting better or something, but maybe then I would end on something like a song. I like to end on a song, but maybe not. Maybe leave on something of an ambiguous note, like, is this good, or is this bad, or is this awkward, or like, when the fuck can we leave, or something. And also talk about how some people embodies that something like mine are quite frequently saying things like, lighten up, or like, give us a smile, love, or like, come on, I was only having a laugh, or like, it was just a joke. Or like, can't you take a joke? Or like, come on, laugh for me. Or like, brighten up. Or like, why so serious? Or like, things are looking up, love. Or like, come on, smile. Or like, 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 give us a fucking smile. Or like, what's wrong? Or like, why won't you laugh for me? Or like, come on. Or like, have a little laugh with me. Or like, laugh it off. Or like, are you laughing at me? Or like, brighten up. Or like, lighten up. Or like, here comes the sun. Or like, it looks like it's lightening up. Or like, no, it does. Or like, light. Or like, sun. Or like, yeah. Or like, no, yeah. Or like, here it comes. No, yeah. No, here it comes. Yeah, the sun is going to come. Yeah, here it comes. It's coming. Here comes the sun. 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 Do 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 do. Here comes the sun, and I said, it's all right. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since we've been here. Oh, here comes the sun, do-do-do-do. Oh, here comes the sun, and I said, it's all right. Little darling, the smiles returning to the faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Oh, here comes the sun, do-do-do-do. Oh, here comes the sun, and I said, it's all right. 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 It's all right.